All right, let's go to the Dub Hub now. And we're pleased to be joined by the voice of the Winnipeg ICE, Mitch Peacock, whom I just saw the other day, but we never had a chance to chat. How you doing, Mitch?
I'm doing well. How about you, Rod?
Good. Good to chat with you again. And this is to grace all of our Winnipeg viewers because we've got a ton over there on Bell MTS Cable. They know Carry Game Plus, as you know. Let me ask you this, bud. We're over 2+ weeks into the Dub Hub here with your Winnipeg ICE and the 7 Western Hockey League East teams. How have you found the experience?
Fantastic. I mean, first of all, I love the building. The Brandt Center is one of my favorite rinks anywhere. It's built for this league. It's built for, well, anything outside the NHL, really. So it's a perfect stage for the event. I think the quality of play has been better than I expected with the players coming off of such a long layoff. I thought that it would be ragged for a while. It was ragged for a very short time. It's been incredibly competitive. It's been fascinating watching the young players coming into the league, the veteran players doing their thing. And you know, we've seen how people have enjoyed the North Division in the NHL, and we're getting a taste of that ourselves with these teams going after each other 4 times each. It's been fun watching, and I'm looking forward to it continuing.
All 4 Western Hockey League divisions are going. The Q, for the most part, is going, and unfortunately the O is not. So it's, for as far as the WHL goes, it's been great. But I got to ask you this. Peyton Krebs, 3 assists last night for the Ice in their win over the Moose Jaw Warriors. He came back from the Henderson Silver Knights. Can you, have you had a chance to talk with him? This is what I don't like. We don't get that face-to-face with the coaches and players. So have you had communication with Krebs or any Ice players about how they feel this has been going?
Yeah, well, I mean, like so many of us, my conversations with them have been by Zoom. And I had a chance to talk to a number of the players, including Peyton. Peyton, I joke, is the world's foremost expert on quarantines because he spent time with the Vegas Golden Knights last summer when things picked up and everybody gathered in Edmonton. He spent time with Hockey Canada for the World Junior Championship, went down, played in Henderson, and then came back here and had to go through the protocols here. He says it's over 50 days that he spent in official quarantines in the last number of months. And, you know, he's a guy that is very focused, very determined, wants to be the best everywhere he goes, doesn't take a day off, leads by example, all those things. And, you know, he's here with a purpose. He wants to enjoy himself because he knows it's his final junior experience, and he's here with a purpose because he wants to pass along the right message to his young teammates, leave a good legacy. So I don't think there's any issue with Peyton Krebs. He takes the assignment, he goes to work, and he makes things happen. He's certainly doing that here, now pushing Dylan Gunther for the league scoring lead.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Vegas doesn't miss on their draft picks, of course. They got a good one. I look forward to watching him star with Canada's team, the Vegas Golden Knights. By the way, Kenny and Rennie are watching on YouTube. You know those guys, of course, Kenny Weeb and Sean Reynolds. They say, Mitch, always a great listen. Great guest. Well, we know that. We only have the best guests here. Mitch, before we talk a little bit about Winnipeg hockey and stuff, is there anything you can divulge on the WHL playoffs? Because as I wrote in my Sunday column, it's on the table from what we understand, but that's about all that we understand. That they haven't said no, but if there are playoffs, they don't know how it's going to look. Is there anything you know about it?
Yeah, I don't know any more than anyone else. You know, to me, I see all sides, right? Players want to win a championship. Players want to compete. They feel that, you know, they can get tested in those environments in different ways than they would in a regular season. So I understand why players will want playoffs. On the other side of it, if you're owning a team and you've already put all this money out to play this 24-game season when really you could have said there's no season at all, why do you want to spend more money and take more time for something that isn't necessarily going to lead to anything substantial? Because I don't see how they can, you know, cross over and get all 4 divisions competing against each other and declare an Edge Cup champion. That to me seems impractical, overwhelming, and just not realistic. So I'm not sure what the motivation would be to have playoffs. I do like the idea that the sponsors have stepped forward and said there's a trophy available to the teams that finish first in standings in the divisions. I think that's something that players do value. I think the players, as I said, want to win. So if you finish first in the Subway East Division Hub, you get the Subway Cup. And I think that's a lot better than nothing and maybe a compromise of sorts, given the commitment that the owners have already had to make.
Especially if it was filled with Subway submarines. Roast beef is my favorite. What's your favorite sub from Subway?
Ooh.
You want to think about it? You want to come back?
Something with chicken, I'd have to say. Anyway, that'd be the start.
Okay. Mine is roast beef loaded with jalapenos and secret sauce and mustard and mayo. Just you think about yours, dude.
Okay.
Actually,
ready.
Comments. Everybody write in with your favorite Subway subs. That would be a good way to go. David Ice is watching. David Ice writes in and says, "Way to go, Ice! 4-1 victory over the Moose Jaw Warriors." So the Winnipeg people have picked up and paid attention to this, Mitch, and I want to mention that to you because James Patrick, although we've never, I don't think, had a face-to-face chat, he's just a good Winnipeg hockey guy. Loves coaching the ice, loves being at home, and he said the product is amazing. We need to get the word out there in Winnipeg about this Ice team. How have you found the transition to be now in their third season?
Well, that's the hard part about it, right? Actually, last year was the first season, and you're introducing yourself to a community. You're trying to find your place in the bigger picture. You're letting people know where you play, where they can find you, about the schedule, about the quality of play. They hadn't had a team there since the early '80s, so there's a lot of educating going on. There's a lot of relationships being built, and then the pandemic hits, and like so many other industries and businesses, you end up almost at a standstill, and you're just trying to maintain the relationships that you initiated. So this season, very important for the Ice in terms of playing games and being able to be available to fans in the Winnipeg market through a 1290 CFRW, through iHeartRadio, through WHL Live on CHL TV, just making sure that the team remains present in the marketplace and shows up and competes and continues to build the brand. I think it's vital that the team played. And I think it's really important that we've had the media partnerships that we've had. So that people can continue to get to know the team and get to appreciate it and look forward to seeing it in person again when we're able to do that down the road.
From our viewers, Chris in Toronto says, the Italian BMT with hot peppers. Get your sodium on. From Adam Schultz, he says, the Italian BMT on herb and cheese bun. From David Ice in Winnipeg, the meatball sub, which I've never had, but it looks delicious.
Oh, you know what? That might pull me away from the chicken. I got to be honest. Yeah.
Why don't? Yeah. I'm always a roast beef guy. Son of a cattle rancher. I'm never going away from the beef. From Ivan Diablo, watching in Southern Ontario, favorite Mr. Sub, roast beef, double cheese, mustard, hot peppers, heart attack in your hand. From Mark Zosel in Melfort, he says steak and cheese on herb and cheese. So yeah, I can't move off the beef, but that's just me. I'm sorry, Mitch, we started something. From Chris in the Kingston, Ontario area, chicken and bacon ranch or meatball on Italian herb and cheese. So Subway's really getting their sponsorship dollars paid for here. Anyways, what about the new arena, Mitch? Is it? I get the sense that it's like sort of taboo. The Ice moved from Cranbrook, I think on the condition they were going to build a new rink in Winnipeg, and here we are. They haven't broke ground yet. Like, what's the deal there?
Well, that's really totally outside of my realm. I watch the team practice. I go to the games. I call the action. That's my world. Those things happen at the boardroom level and really are not things that I'm familiar with. What I will say is this, though. Can you imagine beginning a project of that value and then a pandemic hitting? And the reason I bring that up is because who knows what the modern standards will be for a facility now that we've experienced something like a pandemic. What kind of space do you need on a concourse? What sort of distribution of seating do you need? What are the ventilation requirements? What do you need for exits and entries? How do you plan to get people in and out of facilities? So for me, in a way, not really knowing what the background is as to the situation with the arena, all I can think of is, in a way, thank goodness they're not in the middle of it, because it may be a whole new world of what the requirements are to do this the right way going forward. And so that's, for me, that's one positive to the fact that there isn't ground broken at this stage, is just what are you going to need going forward?
For sure, and as I say, everything happens for a reason, although it's very difficult to understand at the time most often. Director Jordan says, I do enjoy a ham and cheese with pizza sauce and pineapple. I refer to it as the Hawaiian pizza sub. You can do that? I guess you can do whatever you want. David.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. That's official.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah, you're paying. You can do whatever you want. David in Winnipeg says, I posted game highlights of the Ice and Warriors from my YouTube. On Twitter, I get over 100,000 views a month. So, listen, you don't need you don't need to sell me on the popularity of junior hockey, particularly major junior. It gets the views, right, Mitch? You probably realized that going back to the Ice because you'd been with the Raiders before that.
Yeah, well, that was another world, right, Rod? I mean, you and I were calling games back in the 90s. In those days, we didn't I had to go to the radio station to find a computer that had the internet. So
yeah.
That was a different time. So it is fascinating now. The exposure is incredible. Obviously, you've made the most of it with this situation working out as well as it has. And congratulations to you and your team on that. It's a great product. But it's fun to see how the word is spread and how people can get in on a product and appreciate it. And that's what it's all about, right? We want to help people to enjoy their leisure time. It's entertainment. And for the players, it's a development opportunity. And, we're just grateful to be, I don't know about you, I'm sure it's true, just grateful to have a chance to be a part of it. It's a fantastic way to make a living.
I say it as often as I can, how grateful I am to be involved, particularly with the privilege of being in the hub, which reminds me, I could go on all day about this, but we got to run. Man, Mitch, we'll have to bring you back, man. Mitch Peacock, who really should be working at NBC, maybe one day, the Peacock Network. But Craig Campbell at the Hockey Hall of Fame says Matthew Savoy is averaging a point per game with Dubuque in the USHL. How good of a player is he? How much will he impact the team, assuming he can return to the ice this season? So there's that. Trent, watching in Norway, says, when I'm home, it's club sub on wheat. Tasty. From Mike Blackbird in Toronto. Super roast beef sub, lettuce, tomato, mayo, hot peppers. And there you go. And Mark Zosel wants to know if you're rooming at the U of R or where you're staying at. So it's a rapid fire. We got about a minute. Where are you staying, Mitch?
I'm still on the guy from Norway with a sandwich. Somebody wrote in from Norway?
Yeah, he watches every day. Trent from Norway. Long story. Where it is currently 7:16 p.m. We've got a clock on the wall for Norway. But where are you staying, Mitch?
Airbnb, not too far from the rink.
All right, excellent. And Matthew Savoy, how good is he?
Fantastic player, great kid, all the tools, the right attitude. He's a guy you want to see.
Excellent. Okay, Mitch, as always, good seeing you. We'll chat further when I see you in the hub, and stay safe, and thanks for this.
Thanks for having me, and the more I've had a chance to think about it, I'm going with the meatball.
The meatball sub, okay. Takes one to know one. You are what you eat. Thanks, Mitch.
All right,
Mitch Peacock, the voice of the Winnipeg ICE. What's your sub?
Meatball.
The meatball?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
nothing on it, though. Maybe a little spinach and Parmesan cheese, and away you go.
From our technical producer, Rocco, I prefer Subway to Mr. Sub because they make me feel like I'm having a healthy choice when I eat an entire loaf of bread. It's all marketing.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.